Don't lose your way in the world. What? Oh, Akame Ga Kill, not Kill La Kill. Oh, what is up, everybody? I just got done watching Akame Ga Kill episode 2. Now, the first episode left a big imprint on me, and I really enjoyed it, especially the little twist at the end. It got me pretty hype, and I was really excited for episode 2. Now, without getting into too many spoilers, first off, how did this episode stack up to the first? Well, I thought that it was not it wasn't as good as the first. It wasn't as impactful because the first one, usually it just broke an anime trope where the main character is really weak and defenseless, and usually they hesitate to kill somebody or something like that. But this one, but the first episode, the pilot episode, pulled out all the stops and threw that anime trope right out of the window. So it was just kind of a little shocking at first. This one didn't really leave the same impact, but it was still a very good episode. It had its funny moments, and as I predicted in the last episode, this is sort of Tatsumi, the main character, sort of getting used to everything. And it was kind of slow, but there were some pretty cool moments that I want to talk about when we get into the little spoiler section. Overall, though, I think this episode was very good. One thing I didn't touch on actually in the last video that I did on Akame Ga Kill was the fantastic opening that this anime has. This anime's opening is absolutely amazing. This is one that I definitely will not be skipping. But with all that out of the way, let's get on to what actually happened in the episode. So the episode starts off with Tatsumi actually being undecided about joining the Knights raid. So what ends up happening is the chick that he met in the first episode, right in the beginning, Leone. I don't know. It could be Leona or Leone. I think they say it in the Japanese way like Leone or something like that, or Leona. What ends up happening is that she introduces him to all the people in the Knights raid, and they're all very colorful, very dynamic. Each of them are very different and very unique. As with most anime little groups like that, everybody is sort of different, and they all have their quirks and whatnot. One really funny part was when he met Bulat, the big buff dude that likes to break a sweat or whatever. After he shakes his hand, she's like, yeah, and he's also gay. And just that little moment, he was just like, you wouldn't want him to get the wrong idea, would you? Or something like that. Like that was just hilarious. I just wanted to, I put that a little note there just to point that out. Very funny. You also have your stereotypical perv character, Lubak, or I don't really know how you say his name, but he's there. And then what ends up happening is that he meets up with Akame, and then Akame's all like dressed up or whatever because the boss of the Knights raid is finally back from something that she's done. She has a really cool mechanic where her arm or hand rather can sort of detach. She showed that off just as like a little funny gimmick, and I thought that was really cool. I'm really interested to see what that arm can do. So there was that happened, and then essentially what ends up happening is they all meet, and there's one character out of the whole group. I think her name is Mine, the pink-haired girl. She's not for Tatsumi joining the Knights raid. She doesn't think he's ready. She's just like basically a hater. She's like, he's not ready. He's a little, just by looking at him, I can tell he's not ready for this. So essentially the captain commander is like, okay, do you want to join? And essentially what ends up happening is that since he knows where their location is and all that stuff, she says that you can either choose to join the Knights raid as one of us, or we'll just employ you to do other things. Basically, to me, it sounds like, yeah, you're basically going to be a slave. You can't do anything. So after a few conversations back and forth, he eventually decides to join the Knights raid in a promise that if he does a good job for them, that his village will be saved. So here we go. Tatsumi is finally in the Knights raid, just like I predicted. I predicted in the last episode that in this episode he'll be sort of getting used to things. He'll meet everybody and all that stuff. What ends up happening is that he trains with Akame first to, I guess, learn things, and what he ends up learning is like cooking or something like that. Yeah, he's cooking with Akame because I guess Akame is in charge of food. They eventually go like deep sea fishing or whatever, or extreme fishing, where they sort of jump in the water and have to collect fish. She only ends up collecting 2 of them, very lackluster. And while they're reporting in on Tatsumi's progress in his training, Leona, or I don't really know how to call her. I want to call her Leon, but I have a feeling that people are gonna get mad at me. Whatever, I'm just gonna call her Leon. So Leon has a request to take out somebody by the name of Ogre. And this man Ogre, what he does is he frames innocent people for doing things and then essentially kills them off. And what ends up happening is the wife of a man that got wrongfully framed and then murdered, essentially she had to like sell her body or whatever to get enough gold to pay for them to take out Ogre. So they don't really know who they want to send to take out Ogre. So Tatsumi says, you know what, I'll do it. Obviously, my webcam was messing up there for a second. Alright, I think I'm good. My webcam was messing up there for a second. But so obviously, naturally, they're like, I don't know if you're ready for this, man. I don't know if you can do it. He assures them that he is ready. Alright. And cut to where they're about to start the mission, where Akame and Leon are going to take care of somebody else while Tatsumi tracks down Ogre and takes him out. Leon informs Tatsumi about Akame's past. Very, very, very weird, you know, trying to explain this. But essentially, Akame, from a very young age, was forced into an assassin training group, I guess, by the capital. And through this series of events, she ends up, you know, obeying every single one of their captain's orders and whatever, and she becomes a very, very great, potent assassin. And then she gets ordered to take out the now leader of the Knights Raid. That's where they meet. And then the leader of the Knights Raid informs Akame about her revolution to go up against the Imperial capital. So that's what happens with that, and that's the whole backstory behind Akame. And then comes the fight between Tatsumi and Ogre. Now, this part was really cool. Essentially, Tatsumi approaches Ogre and is like, hey, man, I gotta talk to you, but, you know, it's kind of crowded over here. Let's go somewhere secluded. They go somewhere secluded, and then, you know, Tatsumi sort of fakes it off. He's like, oh, please let me join the Imperials or whatever. And then as Ogre's back is turned, Tatsumi takes out or he's like, you know, holding his sword about ready to go attack. And then before he can do that, though, Ogre turns around and goes for the slash. However, Tatsumi is too quick, runs in, gashes him, and boom, Ogre drops. Right as Tatsumi is about to go report in and say that he took care of Ogre, Ogre comes up from right behind him and goes fucking ham. Homeboy just goes straight up crazy. And this fight was really, really cool. I wish it was a bit longer, maybe a bit more action-packed, but nevertheless, this fight was actually really cool, and the way it ended was absolutely awesome. So Ogre goes for an overhand smash, Tatsumi blocks it, and essentially Ogre's like, yeah, that woman that requested you to kill me, I'm gonna find her and I'm gonna fucking just demolish her. And then this, of course, pisses Tatsumi off in typical anime fashion. And then he cuts off very, very swiftly, very quickly. Tatsumi cuts off both of Ogre's arms and lands the final blow. And then after that, there's an emotional moment between Tatsumi and Akame, because Akame lost somebody that was special to her, because the person was too proud to admit that they had fatal wounds from a fight that they went on. So turns out everything is okay. And all in all, the episode was relatively good. It wasn't as good as the first. I'd give it maybe a 6.5 or a 7. The end fight was pretty cool, but other than that, it was just a bunch of, you know, build up, and that's to be expected. I'm expecting the next few episodes to be like this. The way this episode ended was Tatsumi was informed that he'll be training with Mine next, and Mine is the girl that does not want Tatsumi to be in the Knights Raid. So that should be really interesting. I'm excited to see what kind of training he's gonna have to go through there. But that was Akame Ga Kill episode 2. Overall, very good. I think this is definitely an anime you should be watching out for. There could be a lot of cool things coming out of it. What do you guys think about Akame Ga Kill thus far? Leave that in the comment section down below. Leave a like rating if you enjoyed this video in the slightest. And I will see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.